The vault sat in the deadlands like a wound too clean to scar. Nyssa stood just beyond its perimeter, one boot pressed into black earth, one hand resting on the grip of her rail knife. No guards, no defense towers, just silence and light. The dome shimmered in soft gold, veins of circuitry still glowing faintly from where it had opened itself. It looked ancient, it looked alive, and it remembered her, not as a welcome. Biosignature, Nyssa Frostbane, came the voice in her neural link. Vault recognition, denied. Of course it was. Of course they built it to reject her. She stepped forward. The pressure hit her instantly, not physical, not at first. It felt more like walking into a memory that didn't want to be remembered. The ground vibrated beneath her feet. The sky stuttered, and a low pulse rippled outward from the dome's surface, like the vault was trying to erase her with resonance alone. Unauthorized entry. I'm not here to be contained, Nyssa muttered. Her coat flared open as the defense systems on her belt activated. Neural dampeners sinking, pulse blockers harging. She pressed through the static field. The vault fought her. Waves of heatless force slammed into her chest, shoulders, and spine. Flash images stabbed through her optic feed. Liana standing atop a burning city. Soren alone in the dark, screaming her name. A version of herself collapsed and broken, rail knife still in her hand. They weren't visions, they were warnings. In the vault interior, Liana felt it the moment Nyssa breached, a pressure like a fault line shifting beneath her ribs. The vault trembled, not in fear, but in confusion. It couldn't decide how to defend itself. She's here, Liana said. Her voice was steady, but her pulse was climbing. Soren turned sharply toward the corridor. What do we do? I don't know yet. The vault's light flickered, then dimmed, and then Nyssa stepped through the breach. She emerged like a silhouette cut from a sharper world. Armor matte black, cloak torn at the edges from atmospheric pressure, eyes alive with code-fed targeting data. The walls of the vault retracted around her, retreating in fear. And Liana didn't move. Nyssa looked at her, not like a hunter, not like an enemy, but like someone who had carried a secret for too long and was now standing in the ruin it had created. You survived, she said softly. Liana's jaw clenched. You sound surprised. I'm not, I'm disappointed. Behind her, Soren tensed and the vault held its breath. Try signature convergence. Unstable. Event thread splitting. Reality fork potential escalating. You don't understand what this place is, Liana. Nyssa's voice was calm, too precise. It's not a throne. It's not a sanctuary. It's a fuse box. And you've lit every wire. Then why did it open for me? Because it remembers your kind. Nyssa stepped closer. You weren't born in this timeline. You were left in it. What? Soren whispered. I found you, Nyssa said to Liana. Years ago, near the vault's edge, no records, no bloodline match, and I didn't report you. I should have. You raised me into this system. You let me grow into this. I wanted to see what would happen. Nyssa's eyes gleamed. Now I know. Liana answered back when Nyssa was already contemplating a possible moral victory. That diodes not give you any rights over me or my decisions. In fact, you still see me as a test subject, don't you? Your little lab rat. You didn't even try to find out anything else about me, did you? Vault alert, decision pending. Too many paradoxes in convergence. One must exit. Suddenly, the air in the vault turned cold, existentially cold. It was as if the universe had paused, waiting to see which piece no longer belonged. Nyssa stood inside the vault, staring at the girl she had allowed to live, the paradox she raised without ever touching, the problem she thought she could control. Liana stood in the center of the vault's core chamber, her heart hammering as if trying to break through her ribs. The light around her flickered with static gold, no longer steady or safe. Nyssa Frostbane stood just beyond the Genesis array, calm as silence, rail knife sheathed but ready. Not attacking, not yet, just watching her like a question waiting to be answered. And behind Liana, Soren. His presence was gravity. His silence was heavier than the air. The vault pulsed once, then dimmed. Convergence stabilized. Try signature alignment. Volatile. Dialogue protocol initiated. Of course, even the vault wanted to hear it said. Nyssa's voice broke the stillness, low, controlled. You were never supposed to wake this place. Liana didn't flinch. Then, why did no one ever tell me what I was? I did, once, indirectly. A ghost of something flickered across Nyssa's face. Regret, perhaps, or calculation. You just didn't know how to listen. Soren stepped forward, his voice shaking. She's not the problem. Nyssa's eyes slid to him, cold and measuring. No, she's just the catalyst. Liana laughed, short and sharp. So what now? You kill me, and the timeline stops unraveling? I don't need to kill you, but stop you, restrain you. That should be enough. Nyssa said softly, and the vault closes. The thread ends. The paradox is sealed. You don't know that. I know enough. I've watched 12 years of fractures ripple out from your presence. Systems glitching, memories failing, lives rewritten in ways no one noticed, except the vault, except me. Soren's voice rose, brittle. She didn't ask to be placed here. No, Nyssa said. I did that. Liana turned toward her slowly. You admitted? I found you in the dirt, Nyssa said. No records, no birth, just wrong. But you looked at me like you knew me. So I lied. I gave you to a system that would eat you, and you survived. Liana's fists curled. You raised me like a ghost. You watched me burn, and now you want to bury the ashes? Nyssa took a step closer, her boots making no sound on the vault floor. I want to stop what's coming? The vault flickered. Walls split briefly, showing flashes of timelines. 1,000 outcomes, all incomplete. Soren dying, Liana alone in the ruins, a city rewritten, a world on fire. Nyssa's face, younger and uncertain, watching from a forgotten corner. Liana's voice cut through it, quiet, deadly. And what if I'm not the real threat? Nyssa didn't blink. Then we're already too late. The silence wrapped around them like a shroud. Then Soren spoke, his voice soft but certain. What if the vault didn't choose Liana to destroy this timeline, but to heal it? Nyssa turned toward her slowly. The vault doesn't choose. It remembers. It reacts. Then maybe it's remembering wrong. The vault pulsed again, this time sharper. Decision pending. System strain at threshold. One element must be removed to restore balance. Liana stepped forward, her eyes locked on Nyssa. Then say it. Say what you came to do. Nyssa's expression remained unchanged, but her hand dropped to her belt. There was a pause before her voice softened to a death whisper. And I hoped it wouldn't be you. Soren moved between them. Liana's not the fracture, he stated. Nyssa's eyes narrowed. No? Soren shook her head. She's the key. The vault didn't wake for me. It didn't wake for you. He glanced back at Liana. It woke for her. Vault alert. Resolution required. Countdown initiated 5 minutes until event lock. A choice hung between them, unspoken and unforgivable. You hoped it wouldn't be me? Funny, you had 12 years to hope differently. Liana's fingers brushed the vault's wall, and the gold circuitry flared, not in defense, but in recognition. You keep calling this a fracture, but what if it's a suture? What if the vault isn't trying to close, but to heal this timeline? Hope? Nyssa's voice barely shifted, but something in her eyes flickered, like the crack of a fault line, subtle yet seismic. I didn't come for hope, Liana. I came because the fracture you call truth is eating holes through the spine of time. She took another step forward, unblinking. You think I don't understand? I've walked through every ripple you've caused. I've seen people remember things that never happened. Cities glitch, lovers forget each other, and parents mourn children who never lived. That's not truth. That's radiation. You think you're a story trying to be told, but you're a rewrite, scrawled over a dying page, and I'm the only one left who remembers the original. Original? Liana laughed. Sharp, fractured, like the edges of the vault's warnings. You mean the version of the world where I didn't exist? Where you didn't let me exist? The air around her hummed, static clinging to her skin like a second shadow. You talk about ripples, Nyssa. but you're the one who threw the stone." She spread her hands and the vault's light shuddered, timelines flickering in the space between them. A child's face in ruins, a name whispered into dead air, Nyssa herself, younger, hesitating at the edge of a decision. "You saw the fractures. You chose not to stop them, not until now." Her voice dropped, raw at the edges. "So tell me, did you wait this long because you thought you could fix me? Or because you were afraid to admit you made a mistake?" The vault's pulse stuttered. A single phrase echoed, warped, directive unclear. Nyssa didn't move, didn't flinch, but the stillness was a mask, and for a moment, Liana could see its crack. Both. The word landed heavy, a confession, a curse. You were never supposed to matter. You were never supposed to hurt this much. Her hand drifted near her belt again, not for the weapon, but as if she needed the feel of steel to stay anchored. "I didn't report you because I wanted to see what time would do to you, whether you'd unravel or adapt. But you didn't just survive, Liana," her voice quieted. "You started changing the frame itself." She took one slow step forward through a flickering pulse of fractured light. "And maybe I wanted that. Maybe some part of me needed the world to break because I was too tired to carry what it used to be. I made you a ghost in a house with no mirrors, and now you found one." Her voice turned low, dangerous again. "And I don't know if I'm supposed to destroy it or let you fulfill your destiny." The air between them warped, not from the vault's interference, but from the weight of Nyssa's words. Liana's breath hitched just once before she bared her teeth in something too jagged to be a smile. "Safe?" She echoed the word like it was poison. "You think I ever believed that? I grew up feeling the world itch around me, like a wound trying to close over something still inside. I didn't need mirrors, Nyssa, I just needed answers." She stepped forward into the fractured light until the glow etched her silhouette in golden shadow. "But you're right about one thing. I did change the frame." A pulse of energy rippled up her arm as the vault's walls shuddered, timelines bleeding through. 1,000 variations of them, of this moment, of Nyssa's hand lifting not to strike, but to reach. "You want to know what I see in the mirror?" Liana whispered. "A world that's better broken. Because of the old one," her voice cracked. "It left children in the dirt." The vault's voice splintered between them. "Paradox stability, collapsing, choose." Liana didn't look away. "So leave me, or fight me, but don't you dare pretend this isn't what you saved me for." The word saved hadn't even finished reverberating when Nyssa exhaled, slow, sharp, a sound like metal cooling after it's been forged. She didn't draw her weapon. She didn't attack. She did something worse. She lowered her eyes. Just for a breath, just enough to let silence say what shame never could. "You think I haven't paid for what I did?" Her voice had no edge now, no calculation, just ruin. "Every life you lit on fire cast its shadow across mine." She lifted her head slowly, her gaze piercing through the golden haze of the vault.
"But you're wrong about one thing, Liana."
Her hand hovered near the rail knife again, not in a gesture of threat, but in remembrance. "I didn't save you for this." Her voice was a quiet thunder. "I saved you because, for one moment, I wanted the universe to suffer for giving you to me. A timekeeper, Liana." She let the word hang heavy as the timelines unraveled behind her. "A creature engineered to anchor timelines, cast adrift in one that couldn't hold you. You had too much free will coded into your bones, and too much fire in your mind." Her eyes darkened. "You weren't supposed to exist. Not here, not now." She took a breath that sounded like surrender. "But you looked at me like you belonged, and I was too tired, too curious to end it." "What did you just say?" Liana's voice cracked. "Timekeeper." The word hit her like a psychic recoil, as if the vault flinched inside her veins. "You mean I'm not a fracture?" She stepped back, her breath faltering. "I'm the frame." Her eyes widened, filling with something more profound than fear, recognition. The flicker of 1,000 versions of herself echoed through the vault's walls, standing, breaking, choosing. "And you kept that from me?" It wasn't an accusation, it was heartbreak. "Would it have changed anything?" Nyssa's voice was barely audible. "You would have fought me either way. You always have." She stepped forward, closer now within reach. But if this is the end, Liana, then indulge me. Make your choice. Either way, only one of us will leave this vault. The vault screened with light, timelines shredding around them, each collapsing like lungs that had never learned to breathe. By failing you, I achieve my selfish objective, which amuses me. She stepped forward, closer now, within reach. Her next words fell like a weapon gently laid on the ground. But if this is the end, Liana, then you choose. Her eyes flicked to the warping core behind her. Erase me in this timeline. Save yourself. Rebuild whatever world you want from the wreckage. And here the old commander begged, just remember, you will become me, eventually. The vault's light splintered, not in morning, but in morning. Gold bled to white, then to a hollow, hungry blue, as timelines collapsed like stars into silence. Liana didn't move, she didn't blink, but her hands, steady a moment ago, trembled. You think that's what this was about? A laugh tore from her throat, sharp as a sob. I didn't want your penance, Nyssa. I wanted you to see me. Not the fracture, not the ghost, just me. The air between them warped, and for a heartbeat, the vault showed them something else. A memory or a lie. Nyssa's hand, not pushing her away, but pulling her close. It's a different choice, a different world. Liana's breath hitched. You don't get to ask me not to become you, she whispered. Because I won't, that's the whole point. Her fingers brushed the vault's core, and the light shifted, no longer rejecting, but rebuilding. But I'm not erasing you either. She looked up, eyes blazing. You want to pay? Then live and help me fix it. The vault's voice was a whisper now. Paradox realignment, possible. Convergence required. Nyssa stood in the wake of Liana's words, like someone hit by something quieter than a blade, but deeper than blood. The vault's light rippled through her, grieving, remembering, inviting. And still she hesitated. Her breath shook, not from fear, but recognition. She had wanted this, once. A world where she hadn't turned her back. A girl who hadn't grown into a weapon. A future unlit by fire. The memory the vault offered, Nyssa pulling Liana close instead of away, lingered behind her eyes like a phantom heartbeat. She hadn't made that choice, not then, but Liana just had, and that undid her. Nyssa's hand drifted up to touch the light where it had vanished, but instead she reached for the real thing, for the girl she failed, who now stood brighter than the fracture she was blamed for. She didn't fall to her knees. She stepped forward, slow, solemn, and placed her palm against Liana's over the core. To fix it, I must destroy you. Let's fix it. The vault ignited, not in fire, but in synthesis. Timeline shards collapsed and rethreaded in a cascade of starlit pulses. Nyssa's voice was almost lost in it, but it carried, barely a breath. See me then, not the monster, not the regret, just me. And for the first time since the vault opened, the system didn't resist, it aligned. Convergence accepted, dual source correction in progress, and Nyssa didn't let go. Not this time. The light didn't consume, it braided. Gold and blue and the electric hum of something new threaded through their joined hands. Liana's breath caught, not from pain, but from the sheer, terrifying weight of possibility. She didn't pull away. I see you, she said, quiet as the vault's sigh of relief. I always did. A beat. Then, sharper, a ghost of her old defiance. Even when I wished I didn't. The timelines stitched themselves back together, not into what they were, but into what they could be. Cities flickered into existence without scars, faces blurred, then sharpened, remembering, forgetting, choosing. Soren's voice cut through the light, half laughing, half raw. So does this mean we're saving the world or rewriting it? Liana didn't glance back. Her fingers tightened around Nyssa's. Yes. The vault's light trembled, neither welcoming nor resisting now, but waiting. It pulsed beneath Liana's fingertips, like a sleeping god shifting in its dreams. Nyssa's hand was still pressed against hers, their skin touching over the core's surface. Not a weapon, not a command, just presence. And then Liana pulled away. No anger, no fear, just a calm resolve, sharper than any blade. She stepped past Nyssa, toward the vault's center. The Genesis core shimmered, its shape unfixed. like a wound in reality too old to close or too new to name. Nyssa turned sharply. Liana, but the girl didn't stop, didn't look back. She whispered, almost too quiet to hear, "You wanted me to choose." So I did. Then she stepped into the light. Liana touched one of the timelines on the wall and was gone in the blink of an eye, dissolving into nothingness right before Nyssa and Soren. She vanished. The vault sealed behind her, not violently, but like a breath being held, like time exhaling. The vault's final verdict was almost gentle. Correction complete, paradox resolved, and Nyssa was left alone. The silence that followed wasn't cold. It was final. She stood in the dim glow, her hand still half raised. For the first time in years, she didn't know what to reach for. CASSY floats around the room, alerting Nyssa through their neural link about the need to close the vault. It's time to take Soren and leave. However, Nyssa appears stuck in a vision, unresponsive and seemingly in a deep trance. It's as if her mind is overloaded with dozens of alternative timelines and their consequences. CASSY decides to override the communications, hoping to provoke a reaction from Nyssa, as this strategy has worked in the past. Initiates a recording for Lorraine Comm Center.
Oh, how poetic. One walks into myth. The other stays behind to mourn a mistake they both made. Timeline fracture, technically unresolved. Core memory, full of holes, delicious ones. They always think they're fixing something, holding the universe together with declarations and trembling hands. There was a brief pause, a smile hiding in static, as if truth ever needed them. Energy collapses into matter. Matter forgets how to hold itself. Memory distorts. And at the end of all things, when every possibility has been run through the shredder of causality, you know what's left? A low crackle, like laughter made of dying stars. Static